Hey gang, welcome back to another video here at Joe Daddy's Workshop. As I've said in my opening video, I'm going to do a variety of projects, DIY stuff, and different things that may help people with projects they have around the house, or who knows, it could be just about anything from, like I did in the last video, welding up some cast iron for a friend of mine. Now, I did a video earlier in the year about this door that's over here to my left with the stickers all over it. In that video, I replaced the door threshold. And I've gotten great responses on that video. I guess I didn't realize that there would be that many people interested in that kind of video. But as it turns out, that information isn't, common knowledge. It's people, they may be intimidated by the prospect of changing out that threshold, thinking it's very complicated. And the responses I've received have been very positive because they said, now I understand it. I can do this myself. So that makes me happy to hear that, and encourages me to want to do more videos like that. With that said, I have another project for the door. And as I've said in that previous video, that door has been on this shop since 1996 when I built this shop. And wear and tear, things wear out, things get difficult to use. And I've been having trouble locking the door. The little thumb turn device on the inside knob, it doesn't want to lock anymore. Well, that's not good. I want to be able to lock up the shop when I'm not around, so I need to take care of that. So to do that, I'm going to use a Kwikset locking door handle. Now, I picked this up at Lowe's, and obviously there's a variety of different brands and different stuff like that, but they're all very much the same. And this one points out you only need one tool, a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver. And again, it may be a simple project, but it may make it easier for somebody who's looking for that kind of information to take it on themselves. If it's all you need is a screwdriver, well, just about anybody should be able to change out the door or the door handle on their home or their garage or wherever they need to. So I'm going to go through the steps and change out this door handle, but let's take a look and see what's in the packaging. So I'll set aside my screwdriver and open up the packaging, and you have what is called the striker plate. This will mount to the jamb or the frame of your door opening. This little piece, it looks like it goes inside the side of the door. We'll go over that some more. You got some attachment screws and different things. That's for the plate and assembly of the handle itself. The door mechanism, or door handle I should say, and the interior mechanism for the door. Along with that, your keys. Don't lose those. Set those aside. So here are the instructions. And I'll try to go over these a little bit more, but it gives you some information that talks about preparing your door and checking your dimensions. So that's the first step. And then it talks about the latch assembly, which is what they're calling this, and how you can adjust it. Now, some doors you may have a different depth into how far your door handle sits. So this one has an adjustable piece on it. Let me see if I can show you that. It's got this little post sticking out right here, and I can move that, and it extends this arm right here. It comes preset with a shorter length, and it says if this fits in your door and lines up with the hole, then you don't need to adjust anything. So just keep that in mind. As I go along, I'll try to go over the steps and the processes as I move through the assembly of the door handle. But it's probably easier if I just show you rather than look at all these instructions. In my case, I have this existing handle on my door. And as I said earlier, the locking mechanism, as I try to turn that, it really has given up. I don't know if I could just, doesn't really matter. I'm going to replace it. But it may be possible that I could have cleaned this out and lubricated it. But again, this has been on here for 23 years. So it's got some wear and tear. Here's the thing. To remove this, it just takes a screwdriver. So I'm going to take a Phillips screwdriver and pull out these screws. Now sometimes when you take out one of these screws, you'll find that it kind of may interfere a little bit with the door knob, but in this case it's going to pull right out. If you have a problem getting the screw out because it's too long and it wants to hit the back side of the handle, take the other one loose. And then what it'll do is it'll pull away and leave you some room. So you have some clearance then. And then you can angle it because it's got a gap behind the door, behind the trim piece. So I'm going to just take this all the way off here. There we go. And I still don't know. Now it turns easy, so it's not the actual button. It must be the inside piece. And I can take and just grab and pull. Hopefully pull. It's binding a little bit. There it goes. Aha! So apparently it has a little catch. This internal piece kind of hooks onto the inside of the assembly. So let me see if I can get this out of the way and show you the rest. If I take a Phillips screwdriver and remove these other two screws that hold the latch piece inside, then that just comes out. And I'll show you what I think. If you look, this one doesn't have that adjustment. This is an old school latch. So if I put that back through, let me see if I can show you there. See that? All I had to do was push in on that, on the latch mechanism, and it would have released it. Now I know, and you know too, because it was binding right there. That comes off. It looks like it has like the interior post gets fatter right here than this section. Not by much, but apparently enough to stop it. So now you know. Now before I install the new latch mechanism, I want to show you these instructions. It points out there's two versions of a door that you may have. One that has a door edge that's pre-chiseled and one that is not chiseled. If you look at that, this has a little recess area where your door would, the latch would sit, and this one doesn't. Now with this kit, it shows you how to make the one that's not chiseled accept the door latch mechanism. And it's showing you removing the plates from the latch assembly, putting on this drive collar, and then driving it in with a block of wood. I don't need to do that, but I'm going to just show you how to take it apart. So basically here's the new latch assembly. If I just take a screwdriver and pry between these two plates, the trim plate and the interior plate, and they'll come apart pretty easily. Separate those. I'll remove the front plate and then remove the back plate. Slide that off. Okay, now it talks about taking this little collar and fitting it on. Well, it's going to go on from the front here, okay, and then it locks on. And the idea is you can take this, and again I don't need it for my door, but you can take a block of wood and strike this and drive it into the door. Now mine, I don't need it because I'm already pre-cut out here, but just think about that. If you need it, this is how you do it. So I'm going to take this little collar back off. Pretty simple. I just take a screwdriver and get behind it and lift up on it a little bit, and it'll separate. There's a little pin, little hole and a little pin on either side, and I can just push up on it just a little bit and it'll come loose and slide apart. So for me, I'm going to reinstall the plates that I had. I'm going to take this little copper looking piece, put it on the back, take the trim plate, put it back on the front, and then just really squeeze them together, probably with a pair of channel locks or pliers, whatever you have. Get those together. might help if I turn this back plate the right way. There we go. Got ahead of myself a little bit. So that's in place, and now I can install the latch assembly. And just a little observation, this is tapered. And it should be pretty obvious, but I'm going to point it out anyway. You want to have the fat part facing in. The taper angle piece needs to be facing out, so that when you close your door, it pushes that latch in because of the angle. So with that in place, I'm going to grab a couple of screws that came in the kit, and I'm going to install this. Oh, I should point out, if you notice, this, if I were to extend that out, like I talked about earlier, it wouldn't fit. See the gap? Hopefully you can see the gap. Yeah, wouldn't fit. So I'm going to reset that and then put it back in place. And now I'll install the 2 screws. If you don't have an existing door handle, you may have to put some effort behind turning these screws in, because the holes are not going to be there. But since I already have them, it's pretty simple to just go right back in the old holes. That works. Now I want to install the handle mechanism itself. So this just comes apart. You have the interior part with the little thumb turn device or lock device, and then the exterior part. If you'll notice, this has kind of a half moon looking shape to it. It's only going to fit in the latch one way. So I'm going to line that up with the latch, and I may have to push in on the outer mechanism, the outer post, just so it'll clear, because you can see it's not wanting to go in the hole there. If I push this in, it goes right in. So this has the 2 screws, and I'm going to take the interior handle and line it up and line up the screws. Now the next step is to just install the interior trim screws. Now those you might be a little more careful with, because you got to line it up with the hole that's on the other side. If you don't, it'll kind of angle and you'll kind of miss it. So it just takes a little bit of finesse to get in there and feel for that hole. And once it's started, get your screwdriver and turn them in. Now this has always been a bit awkward because of the angle. You have to put your screwdriver, but it's just how it is. Now there's only one more thing left to do, and that's change out the striker. You don't have to, but in my case I've got a silver or nickel finish, and this is an old brass kind of finish, so I'm going to change that out. Now I will point out, if you're doing this in your home and you're putting in a locking door like this, or locking handle, you may want to put in some really long screws. These little short screws that come with the kit, that's just for the decoration side of it. If you want to make it a little more, or a lot more secure really, get you some 3" or 2.5" or 3" screws that are going to go way into the framing of the house. It'll go through the jamb, and typically there's a 2x4 on the back side of this assembly, and run those screws all the way in, and that'll help make the door more secure and harder for somebody to just kick it in. Alright then, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. I know that I had not experienced that little collar deal before. You know, every door that I've installed has already been pre-cut, pre-fitted, but apparently, you know, there's adapters available to help you with ones that aren't ready to go. So, hope you found it useful, if nothing else entertaining, and I think that's it. So, I want to thank you for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, I ask you please do subscribe. I want this channel to grow and get bigger and keep doing more projects like this. And so it's unlikely I'm going to do another video between now and Christmas, which is 1 week away, but I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and until next time, take care of yourselves. That's it. That's all there is. I mean, no, really. Other than me being goofy and just standing here doing stupid things, that's all there is to the video. Well, there will be. Oh yeah. Stay tuned for the bloopers. As I've said in the opening video for this whole page, blah. Alright, so in my case, I have an existing door. Yeah, I have an existing door. It's an existing door.